Mr. Trudeau, why don't you take a day off campaigning and work the phones in terms of the Afghanistan humanitarian crisis? Again, you guys are walking into me, you know that?
You just put the camera in my head.
No, you walked into me. I was just standing there. I was standing there 10 minutes ago.
Please, okay?
No, you walked into me, sir. That's technically assault, okay? You should know that if you're an officer of the law. Why do you call Mr. Jowhari a good man, Mr. Trudeau? He supports the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, Iran. Wow. David Menzies for Rebel News here in Richmond Hill, Ontario. Well, folks, we are at a gathering of food trucks. That's not the story, of course. I wish them well. But we're here because we've been tipped off that Justin Trudeau is going to be dropping by to prop up, if you can believe it, the disgrace of a Liberal candidate, that is Majid Jowhari. This is the man who props up the Iranian regime, much to the chagrin of so many Persians that are a significant minority here in Richmond Hill. Do you remember me trying to scrum Mr. Jowhari last Saturday? Check it out.
Please wait.
Even Liberals have denounced you, Mr. Jowhari.
I don't know what you're talking about. Can you kindly wait?
You are associated with someone who is under investigation by CSIS, who has contributed to your campaign. What do you have to say about that?
I've responded to that question already.
Oh, okay. Can you respond right now, sir?
That was in a social gathering, and that fund has been...
When was that picture taken? Hey, how you doing, officer?
How are you?
Good. Are you here for me?
We've been called for something.
Okay. Okay, then
Stop.
why are you walking so close to me?
Stop, because you're in my area. Okay?
Well, you told me to come outside and I acquiesced to your demand, Mr. Jowhari.
I've answered all your questions. It's better that you stop.
Maybe this is a case for a detective or something to look into. I mean,
You're telling me CSIS is investigating. I think it's above our pay scale.
okay then. Okay, so we're going to wait here. We're going to wait for the arrival of Prime Minister Trudeau and Mr. Jowhari, and we're going to try to ask questions. I'm not hopeful of answers, but we're going to ask questions nevertheless. Hey, Prime Minister Trudeau, why are you supporting somebody that supports the Iranian regime? Mr. Trudeau, why are you supporting a candidate here, Majid Jowhari, that supports the Iranian regime? Can you answer that? Mr. Trudeau, what do you have to say about our disgrace in Afghanistan? Mr. Trudeau, why do you support a candidate who associates with somebody who is under CSIS investigation, who has been described as a threat to national security? Mr. Trudeau? Why are you walking into me, sir? Huh? I can reach over if I want. I'm in a public place. Who are you? Oh, really? Okay, can I see your ID? Can I see your ID, sir?
Stand below.
Huh? Okay, what's your name and badge number?
I'm not getting into that right now.
Okay, well, I'm in a public place. I'm in a public place and I'm not moving, okay?
Just keep it on the other side.
I'm in a public place, sir.
In my face, though.
Huh?
In my face.
Well, what, you got into my face.
Hands trembling above my head. What are you doing up there?
I'm trying to film the Prime Minister. What do you think it is, a gun? Come on, give me a break.
Don't say that, all right?
Mr. Trudeau, why do you support a candidate who supports the Iranian regime? Why are you bumping into me?
Why are you getting your camera in my face?
I'm not. You're getting in my face. Mr. Trudeau, what do you say about us leaving our Afghanistan allies behind? Why have you called this election, Mr. Trudeau? Mr. Trudeau, why won't you answer the questions? Mr. Trudeau, hey, get your hands off me. Why were you putting your hands on me?
Don't push
You're
me.
getting into my
Do not
face.
push me.
You're getting into my face. No, don't touch my camera.
On the other side.
We're in a public place,
On the
are
other
we
side,
not?
man, please.
Mr. Jowhari, how you doing? Why do you support the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world? No, I'm not. I'm not even near your face. No. Don't stand on my foot. Are you kidding me? What is this, amateur hour? Boy, you are a bunch of censorious thugs. You know that? Mr. Trudeau, why do you support this person?
Mr. Trudeau, wait a moment.
Hey, David Menzies, how's it going?
Hey, very good, sir.
Hey, can I get an autograph?
Yeah, sure.
We had a meeting when this tragedy was happening. We meet face to face. You promised to me we go on the bottom line of it.
Yes.
What we did.
Yes, we did exactly that.
Why are you dealing with the regime of the terrorist regime of Iran?
I know.
Why?
I understand.
Why we dealing with terrorist regime of Iran? Did you promise we go to bottom line of it?
Yes.
Is
yes.
bottom line of it to get the money from the Iran?
No, the bottom line is to get justice for the families.
What justice we get
priority.
now? We don't get any justice, Mr. Trudeau, yet.
I know how.
But our family been killed in Iran.
Yes.
And you try to negotiate and close and the friend with Iran.
No.
What is it?
No, we're not. I understand you're hurt. I remember our conversation very much. And I know how much you are hurting for your loss. And all those families are. We will continue to put pressure on the Iranian regime.
We had a meeting,
we will continue. Yes.
We had a meeting with Inspector Payam Akhavan.
Yes.
He said if you have any criminal investigation,
Yes.
you got to go to the Ukraine.
Yes.
What is
Yes.
this? We live in Canada. We have to do the criminal investigation in Canada.
Yes.
Here. Why we go to the Ukraine for a criminal investigation?
Well, because the crime happened in Iran.
In Iran,
Yes,
what he said, we have enough evidence as a Ukraine and the Canada. We live together. 86 people, they was interred for the Canada.
Yes.
Why are you sending us to the Ukraine?
I am working with the community, and we will continue to make sure that you get justice.
You promised me to get the justice.
Yes.
Whoever did this happen to my families, you're gonna get it. How are we gonna get it?
We are going to continue to work together.
You promise?
Yes, we will continue to work together. We will get there. Okay? We are going to get there.
If you promise, we do.
I promise. We were going to do it. Okay. No, I know how much you are hurting. I know how difficult this is. I know how angry you are at the terrible Iranian regime, and you should be. And we are going to do everything we can to get justice, to get understanding, to hold people to account, and to help you heal, even though there's nothing that can bring your loved ones back. I know that.
Thank you, Mr.
No, thank you.
Do you believe him, sir? Sir, do you believe what the Prime Minister just told you?
He promised we do get the justice we on the families of PS752.
Is his promise worth anything, given how many promises he's broken so far to the Canadian people?
His promise, now I believe in his promise, what he did, and he's going to do it.
But sir, he is supporting a candidate right here, Majid Jowhari, who supports the Iranian regime. How is that possible?
I'm not going to the politics part. I do. I know what you're saying. I know what is it. Let's I be on the side of this politic issue.
But Mr. Jowhari, in his own words, supports the elected government of Iran. That's what he has said. He's had meetings with Iranian politicians in Canada. This is the largest state sponsor of terrorism. How can this guy even be a member of parliament?
I am not sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Mix of elbows and fists here.
Can we get a group selfie?
Of course.
Mr. Trudeau, do you support the Iranian regime like the candidate for Richmond Hill, Mr. Jowhari? Mr. Trudeau, do you support the largest state sponsor of terrorism? Mr. Trudeau, do you support the largest state sponsor of terrorism as Mr. Jowhari does? Why do you call Mr. Jowhari a good man, Mr. Trudeau? He supports the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, Iran. Wow. Mr. Trudeau, shouldn't you take a day off campaigning and help the people we've stranded in Afghanistan? Mr. Trudeau, what's more important, you getting a majority or the allies in Afghanistan?
Please ask him to hear the people of Iran, the other side, the real people of Iran. I'm from US. I'm the Iranian, live in US, but I'm here to talk about real people in Iran.
And what do you want to say to him, ma'am?
Well, many of our friends now in the prison because they are activists. Mr. Nurizad go to the prison last day and they beat him. Now there are a film about the prison, about the torture.
So, ma'am, why do we have this man here, Mr. Jowhari, who supports the Iranian regime? He supports the Iranian regime. How is this possible?
You tell me about that, about the lobbies of regime. There are many lobbies of regime here.
I know.
And we are the people of Iran. One of my friends is in the jail for 3 years and a half. She's a mother and has one daughter. They torture her. They don't agree to her to come out for just 1 week.
Ma'am,
یاسمن آریانی مژگان کشاورز نسرین ستوده, the lawyer, the human rights lawyer, Mohammed Nourizad, he gets to the prison yesterday.
Ma'am, I understand what you're saying. So if that is the case, why has this man been elected to represent Richmond Hill?
Ask the Iranian. I know. I don't know. What about the 176 people died in the attack to airplane?
Yes.
752. Ask them. He must ask the one of them what they want.
Do you know, last year, ma'am, at the Richmond Hill Performing Arts Centre, there was a vigil for all the Canadian victims, and Mr. Jowhari, there was many politicians there, he did not show up. Why is that?
I don't know. I'm not from here. I'm from US. We have the same Nayak there. They are lobbying for regime. Here there are many lobbying for regime. But I am the true Iranian. And now one of the family of the airplane came here. He must to talk to her.
Well, Mr. Jowhari and Mr. Trudeau will not answer my questions. I guess I'm not a bought and paid media person.
Against Mr. Trudeau, I don't know him, and Mr. Jowhari, I'm from US. I don't know him. But I know my...
Do a Google search.
Yeah. But I know the Iranian people. I am the activist. Every day I talk to the family of the prison.
Yes.
Inside the prison, they torture. Now, these days, you can search. There are too many films about the inside the prison. One of the best prison. Tell me about that. Every prison.
I've heard it.
You can see. Thank you for...
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Oh, that is awesome. The Nashville. I love it. No wonder you guys are doing so well. That was absolutely awesome. Thanks so much. Here, let's get a picture.
Mr. Trudeau, why don't you take a day off from campaigning and resolve the Afghanistan situation? It's a humanitarian crisis, in case you haven't found out.
Great to see you guys.
So, folks, whenever I try to get close to the Prime Minister, his goon squad of censorious thugs create a human wall. They step on my toes. They push me. These are supposedly men in law enforcement, if you can imagine. And you can see this fellow here. He's always getting in my way. Of course, I pose no threat whatsoever to the Prime Minister unless he considers my ideas, my thoughts, my questions to be weaponized. And I think he does, really, because isn't that what we're seeing with some of these internet regulation bills that Mr. Trudeau wants to pass to govern and regulate the internet? Well, we're seeing it in real time here with his bodyguard collection. What an absolute disgrace. And of course, he is not answering any of my questions. He said that Mr. Jowhari is a good man. By what definition is this supporter of the greatest sponsor of terrorism, Iran, a good man? A man who lied about his engineering credentials, a man who has a contributor to his campaign under CSIS investigation, laundering money allegedly from Iran via Dubai to Canada. Where is the good man part of Mr. Jowhari? I would argue that it does not exist. But I'm going to try to bark out questions to Justin and Jowhari. They seem to be cut from the same cloth these days, don't they? Now check this out, folks. I've been told many times by the undercover cops here not to project my selfie stick over their heads. And but as you can see, here's the bought and paid for media party. Look at that. Look at that giant boom mic over everyone's head. I don't see him getting warned. So once again, one law for thee, one law for me, which is to say, if you are part of the state-funded pool of stenographers giving Justin Trudeau good publicity, well, you can put a boom mic over anyone's head, but my little selfie stick, is a matter of national security. Unbelievable. Sir, how come that boom mic is allowed to go over people's heads, but you had a problem with my selfie stick going over your head? Maybe you didn't understand the question. You told me not to extend my selfie stick, but I see a big boom mic by a member of the media party being extended. Why the double standard, sir? Oh, that's really sad. You can't even explain yourself. Or is it
I'm not making a comment on this.
Okay, well, you told me not to extend my selfie stick, and I see a giant boom mic.
I did not make that comment to you.
Okay,
so
well,
you've mistaken me for someone else. I'm sorry.
Okay, then. Well, what is the rule? Mr. Prime Minister, why don't you take one day off of campaigning to fix the Afghanistan situation? Why are you so concerned about this vanity election? Mr. Trudeau, why do you want to censor non-compliant media? All right, what about the fellow with the boom mic, sir? I'm not trying to hurt anyone. What about the fellow with the boom mic?
Well, it's 3 feet higher than our head. Yours is on our face.
Okay, well, you keep blocking me, that's why, and I don't mean to harm anyone, as you know.
I'm just asking for you to be careful.
Okay, well, there's no harm on my account. Mr. Trudeau, why don't you take a day off campaigning and work the phones in terms of the Afghanistan humanitarian crisis? Again, you guys are walking into me, you know that?
You just put the camera in my head.
No,
Okay,
you
please.
walked into me. I was just standing there. I was standing there 10 minutes ago.
Please, okay?
No, you walked into me, sir. That's technically assault, okay? You should know that if you're an officer of the law. Okay, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to go over there so you don't bump into me. Well, folks, there you have it. Justin Trudeau just ran to a safe space in his Liberal Party of Canada bus, not to be confused with an almost identical big red bus. That is for the state-funded and approved media party. Yeah, can you tell the difference? I can't tell the difference. So once again, we tried to ask him questions that are really dogging the Prime Minister on this campaign. Why an election when this government was in no danger of falling? Why isn't he doing anything tangible about the Afghanistan humanitarian crisis? Why is he supporting an MP, Majid Jowhari, who has more baggage than the arrivals terminal at Pearson International, a man that supports the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world? These are incredible questions for which there are no answers. And by the way, speaking of one of his hobby horses, climate change, as you can see, we have 2 diesel buses. And as they go by behind me, I'll count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My goodness, when I first came here, I only counted 5. I think these big black Chevy Suburbans are spawning. There's another 2 as part of the entourage. I don't see any plug-in hybrids. I don't see any e-cars. I don't see anything running on the lithium crystals. No, again, it is one law for thee, one law for me. That is Justin Trudeau. That is your Liberal Party of Canada. And by the way, what happened to me was an absolute disgrace. No, I don't have any injuries, but his goon squad was constantly bumping into me. They were standing on my toes, if you can believe how petty that is. None of this will, of course, get reported by the trained SEAL stenographers on the media party bus, of course. But that is what happened. Yet again, another, I think, disastrous press conference for the Prime Minister, because he will not take questions. At least he will not take impolite, tough, prickly questions, i.e. the questions that we like to, at Rebel News, give them. In any event, we shall continue to follow this Prime Minister as the election continues. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, the federal election campaign is off and running. Before you know it, it will be Election Day, September 20th. Do you trust the media party? Do you trust the Justin Trudeau paid stenographers to give you the straight goods on this campaign? Well, I sure don't. Please, if you can, go to realreporters.ca. That's realreporters.ca. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation so that we can continue to bring you the other side of the story.